So if you see this great white t-shirt, but then you notice you're shopping at Zara, like where did that white t-shirt come from to get there? And I'm not, if you want to shop at Zara, that's fine, but just don't do it every weekend. Like if you buy the one white top from Zara and you wear it 50 years down the track or however long it lasts, and you care for it and you mend it and you let it go, to textile recycling, or you use it as rag when it's finished. If you love that garment through its entire life cycle, then buy another one. I think that's okay. It doesn't really matter where you shop because I can't dictate where people shop because, it's expensive nowadays. But I think, yeah, one, take a step back, and then two, do research from the start of the life cycle of the garment, how you use the garment, and then its end, like what will you do with it? I think that's my two main things. If you can take anything away from this little podcast, I think that's a good consideration.
No, but I think the two things that you just mentioned, it covers everything. Like, first of all, if do not buy and think about it if you really need it. That's the
Yeah.
first. And if you consider to buy it and you need it, and then think before you buy that how you're gonna be using it and how it's gonna be end. That's actually
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. Just everything.
That's so simple. I mean,
Yeah.
just
Like from a loaf of bread to your wardrobe, I think it works.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's the two simple steps
Yeah.
that thing before we buying a clothes. So even though the next thing I'll be about the mentioning about the brand that I started, the Sheen, the whole concept of that starting. I mean, now when I started, it wasn't so sustainable because I wasn't aware about this term of sustainability. But when I learned, and I thought, no, this is the only way to be, to live or to have. It's a sustainable and ethical way to so we can support both our planet and the people, of course, who are working hard for it.
Mm.
So even though I own the brand, I tell people whenever I need them or we talk about it, I say, please, I own the brand. Thank you for your support. I mean, if you want to do that, let's please do not buy from me too. Whenever you're considering buy, please go back, take your wardrobe out, open the door, open the closet, see whatever you have because
Mm.
everything that you need is already in your closet.
Yes.
But if you want it, I mean, need it actually, not want it, not feel like, but you need it, then consider to going to sustainable and ethical brands. So
Yes.
you can support the people and the planet too. So being conscious. So these
Yes.
are the two steps I also tell people. Plus, do not buy, even from me. The second option is be going to be sustainable and ethical. And now I'm gonna be third thing that I'm gonna be adding is this whenever you're buying, even from me or anyone else, consider how you're going to be using it and how it's going to be ending.
Yeah, I think it's good to think like that because everything we buy comes from somewhere, and everything when we finish with it goes somewhere. Unless, like, it's the loaf of bread, then you ate it. But, like things that aren't edible or put on your face or whatever, like, the container it comes in, the t-shirt, the cotton comes from somewhere, but it has to go somewhere as well. It doesn't just disappear. Like it disappears from our house, but it doesn't disappear in nature. And I don't want to harm nature. I don't want to harm people. I want those things to live on past me. And I know it's such a small thing that, not buying something is such a small thing, but it has a huge impact on one, our wallet, two, our house or the area we live in, but three, it has a huge impact on the planet as well. It's really simple sometimes.
I also love the fact when you said it's disappearing from our house, but not from the nature.
Still
It
there.
is thing that we're throwing out, it's gonna be harming somebody somewhere else. Like a lot of clothing that donated in the third world countries or like Africa. I had one of the guests in the past from Africa. He was from Ghana. He was actually telling me that it affects and people are actually dying because
Oh,
of fast fashion. We
yes.
talk about it, and over there, people are actually dying because of it, and because of the overconsumption, because of the overproduction, because of the waste that we're throwing to the landfills. It's
Yeah.
affecting not us, but there is somebody. But if we're not gonna be stopping here, then one day it's gonna be affecting us too. Even right now, it still does, but not in a big way, big such way, but it's gonna be. I think.
Yeah, I think we just need to look behind the curtain. And like when I talk about things like, slavery and what fast fashion and, people making fast fashion and not, all the harms that are going to them, it doesn't just happen in, countries like India, Bangladesh, those sort of places. It happens in Australia too. I've heard tales of it. It happens in the UK. It happens everywhere. Like it's not just one singular country. Like we can't just push and think, oh, it doesn't happen here, which I feel like is a really big mindset in Australia. It doesn't happen here. It does. I've talked to people who have experienced modern slavery in fashion industry and in like retail industries as well. Like I've spoken to people who were not born in Australia, have traveled to Australia for a new life, and they are being underpaid at working at 7-Eleven or whatever. Like, that's modern slavery still, not being paid a fair wage, things like that. And it happens worldwide. So if we just take a little peek behind the curtain and
Right.
see what the fast fashion t-shirt does, or see what, whatever, how people actually get apples, or, apples just don't pop up in the supermarket automatically. They're picked by a human, then they go through a factory line, all that jazz. Take a little peek behind the curtain, see how your things really get to you, understand that process, understand how the fabric is grown, how the apples are grown, how they get to you, and then what happens when they leave your house. You will start to question everything in a good way, I think. And you, like, I guess also for your mindset, if you start to question everything, you might just curl up in a ball and cry. You got to choose your battles here, all right? And I've chosen fast fashion. But, when you start to take a peek behind that curtain, you'll realize what the effort and the humanity and the, production is put into these items. Like the cotton has to be grown, watered, traveled across continents. Like it doesn't just pop up in the shop. Like when you take a peek behind the curtain, you'll start to realize, you'll start to question, and then you'll be like, okay, yeah, I don't really need 6,000 t-shirts in my wardrobe. I can live with just two. So, you'll be able to save money for a really cool trip somewhere, or you'll be able to buy organic food, or what matters most to you. Like, you know, you'll find that you'll save money. It's a really weird thing to come out of sustainability, but buy less, save money, eat better, or travel better, or whatever.
Yeah, that is actually true. You don't have to be looking it so narrow. You have to look at it as a broader picture. It's a whole thing, it's a whole process, and you can make it out of it, you know. You have
Yeah,
to be a little bit more conscious so you can save yourself, your health, and your money. So you're
yeah,
not going NEV to the fast fashion shop and buying new clothing, and then the after first or second wash is just ripped, and you're not able to
yeah.
wear it again, and then throwing it out and repeating the whole cycle again.
Yeah, go on a hike. Don't go to the fast fashion shop. Go on a hike. Touch some grass for goodness sake. You know? Don't touch grass enough. I need more grass in my life. Like, yeah, just I think we just need, as weird as it sounds, just go back in time a little bit before we had all this technology to
Right.
keep the good bits, to get rid of the bad bits. But just we just need to sort of recenter and refocus and really figure out what we want to do, rather than be driven by this overconsumption world that is happening right now. You know, I love shopping as much as the next person, but honestly, for me right now, I don't even go shopping because it's too overwhelming. There's too much there. So I'm just taking a step back. And also, like, I have less clothes to wash. It's really nice. I don't have to wash my clothes all the time because I don't have many. I wear the same thing. So like
Oh,
there's so many ways you can play and be sustainable in fashion, but also, experiment. There's renting and all that sort of thing as well, which we haven't even touched on. That's a huge world as well. But I think we need to look at slow fashion and sustainability as a whole, as not a burden, but something we can experience and really hone in on our values. Yeah.
no, that is actually true. I totally agree with that. Thank you so much for your insights. We're about to be getting to the closing section soon, and also about to be near our time. I appreciate that. So we can just move forward. The last thing and the last section that we have on this podcast and this webisode is about what I'm going to be asking your insights again. What shifts do you see in fashion industry over the next years?
Oh, yeah, I think there's many. I'm really excited about alternative materials, like, alternatives to leather. There's things being made from fruit. There's like fruit offcuts. There's things being made from, things that aren't like plastic. So, when you think of veganism, it's usually vegan leather, which is plastic most of the time, but also has a huge environmental footprint. So there's, so many different types of alternatives happening out there. There's alternatives to feathers even, like, denim cut in a different way. Like collective fashion justice here in Australia is doing some amazing things in this sector. My friend Emma runs that organization, and they like the things she finds, I'm just astounded. She blows my mind. Like she traveled to, I think it was part of the Amazon jungle somewhere, and found people making like this sort of a rubber sort of fabric, and then she found someone close by who makes it into a jacket. Like,